How's it going, you guys? So I just finished up with a hardcore workout. It's my second day back at the gym, and I am definitely hitting it hard. I'm pretty sore because my body's just not used to handling all this volume. But after a couple weeks of these intense workouts, it won't really be sore anymore. I slammed down about 400 milligrams of caffeine before my workout today. And so that kind of inspires a topic I wanted to cover here today. A lot of you guys have been, following me for the past couple months, know that I've been experimenting with different caffeine sources and things, trying to biohack my caffeine intake to where I can get the benefits of caffeine while minimizing the negative effects. So first of all, the truth is caffeine is an addictive drug. And it does do a lot of harmful things to the body. There is no doubt about that, okay? And it is a fact that after you've been hooked on caffeine for a while, especially at higher doses, when you try to come off of caffeine, you will experience withdrawals. And, the severity of the withdrawals is going to depend on the health of your liver and your body's ability to metabolize the caffeine, get it out of your system, and then also the ability of of the receptors, your adrenaline receptors, your norepinephrine receptors, your dopamine receptors, and of course your adenosine receptors to down-regulate back to normal, okay? That's what withdrawal is all about in regards to caffeine. It's because you've been stimulating you've been blocking certain receptors, and you've been raising all these neurotransmitters in a supernatural way for so long that your receptors have to upregulate, some of them upregulate, some of them downregulate to compensate. And when you come off, your brain has to go back to where it was before it's compensating for the super stimulating effects of caffeine. Anyway, so it is an addictive drug. We have to get that out there. And a lot of people have been telling me, Wolfgang, just get off the caffeine, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. So caffeine is also a tool. It's a very effective tool. So you can use caffeine to overcome, hard night shifts. Like just recently, I did like a 18-hour shift. Was it an 18? No, it was a 16-hour shift, and it was overnight. It was from 3 p.m. all the way until I think it was like 8 p.m. in the morning or 7 p.m. in the morning, something like that. It was insane, and the only way that I was going to get through that is if I was taking caffeine every 4 hours or so. And the dosage of caffeine and the frequency and the duration of time in between doses makes all the difference. It can make or break you, because too much caffeine at once will make you feel overly stressed or even make you feel tired but wired at the same time. And too little caffeine will allow adenosine to reach the receptor sites and make you fall asleep. So it's a very tricky thing. Nonetheless, the fact of the matter is, I know plenty of people that work as sheriffs, police officers, nurses, and medical professionals, you name it. Caffeine is a very useful tool when you're working these hard night shifts and things like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, okay, if you think for 1 second that, it doesn't matter, you should adapt, blah, 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 you probably have never in your life worked like these types of shifts. They're insane. Now, mind you, there's other supplements like L-tyrosine, and there's a couple others, but L-tyrosine is a big one that can actually help you overcome night shifts and sleep deprivation without caffeine. And some people actually use these supplements to get over the withdrawal symptoms of caffeine as well. So there are alternatives, but regardless, caffeine is a very useful tool, and you can use it. You can use it to overcome hard situations in life, And without caffeine, a lot of these people that are working these jobs, nurses, hospital workers, medical professionals of all kinds, you name it, these people will not be able to do their jobs. And police officers too, especially police officers. It's a very hard job, especially in areas like where I live, where there's actually a huge deficit in the amount of people that are working these jobs. They're forced to work long shifts, and they don't get a lot of sleep in between at all. It's really insane. So, yeah, like for people that are, and I do private security, and that's why I worked the 18-hour shift during this pandemic. Lots of job security and lots of job availability and security for sure. I was working these hard shifts, right, and made me realize how important it is to have a tool like that, right? So yeah, caffeine is a useful tool. So very soon I will be making a video. I'll be making a video after this one actually about how you can actually offset the effects of the negative effects of caffeine and use it to your advantage. One more thing I'll say is the types of caffeine that you use make a huge difference. For people who are working hard shifts and they need it to stay awake, I honestly believe the best thing you can do is to take reliable caffeine pills. What that means is don't take a brand that's super cheap that people say is unreliable, Take caffeine pills because that way you know exactly what dose you're going to be getting, and you can dose it appropriately to where you don't get stuck in the mud, right? And you don't lag behind and fall asleep, or you don't take too little, you don't take too much, and you can actually dose it appropriately at appropriate times. So for night shift workers and things like that, I would say caffeine pills are important because you can dose it appropriately. Now, coffee, I feel it kind of just boosts stress hormones. I don't feel like it is a good idea for shift work. You can't really dose it appropriately. Not everybody can carry a coffee machine in their pocket. You know what I mean? Not everybody has coffee makers and things like that. And the other thing is, I personally and many other people have just found that coffee makes us feel irritated and edgy, and it dehydrates you a lot more due to the other compounds that are found in coffee. And so you might be better off with an isolated caffeine supplement. As far as tea and yerba mate and things like that, I find that they're best for people who are trying to do creative work, writing a book, recording videos, stuff like that. I've made, just recently a video about green tea and some of the other compounds in it that boost brain-derived neurotropic factor, alpha brain waves, GABA production. And that is not so great when you're trying to stay awake. Those things can actually put you to sleep. I actually have taken green tea to put me to sleep before. Yerba mate, I find it's a little bit too calming, and it might actually put you to sleep as well. But if you're well rested and you're looking for a drink that will, give you a little bit of caffeine, but it won't affect you the way traditional caffeine sources will, it'll boost your creativity, boost your mental clarity and things like that. I think green tea is amazing. I think yerba mate is amazing as well. And you can actually use something like an isolated caffeine supplement, which would be my choice, but combine it with theanine as a nootropic, right? You can take 200 milligrams of caffeine combined with 400 milligrams of theanine, and that's actually probably the most reliable and effective nootropic you can take. Some people do coffee, but again, it's hard to dose that. But to offset some of the negative effects of coffee, you take the theanine, and what it'll do is it'll actually increase your mental capacity and stimulate you, but you won't feel the jitters. You'll feel more focused and more clear, more stable. So with that being said, this is caffeine as a tool. There's a lot more to talk about, and I'll be discussing a lot more in future videos, so stay tuned. Let me know down below if I've missed anything. Ask me your questions and comments, and let me know your experiences and what your preference is as far as caffeine. And I will talk to y'all next time.